This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm your host, Ashley, and your other host is...
Jessica, and I don't remember what we're talking about this week. Like, I don't know what you're doing, and I'm panicking.
I'm doing parody religions.
Okay, cool. I'm like, I don't remember any other names except one that has to do with noodles.
Yeah, so I'm doing parody religions. I was gonna go into the spaghetti religion, but
oh, noodles.
Yeah, but one of the other ones called Dudeism was like a gold mine, so I just really focused on that and one small other one. So
it's not Dudeism. There was an E in there.
Dudeism.
Is it like bro code?
Yeah, it's like a bro thing. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's gonna be hilarious.
Okay, good.
And then so mine's really funny and upbeat, and then Jessica's really gonna bring us down.
Well, I'm really gonna bring you down because it brought me down, and I was super uncomfortable researching it. So sorry, everybody. I will add a disclaimer at the beginning of mine, but it is not pleasant. It's a serial killer. He's called the Vampire of Dusseldorf.
Oh, my friend's from Dusseldorf.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's he's really fucked up.
Cool.
People like, I don't swear that frequently on this podcast, and
I do.
Oh, this man is fucked up. So I'll enjoy.
So if you want some fun, listen to mine, and then if you want to be immediately dragged back down, listen to Jessica's.
But it's very informative, and it is very, very fascinating. So I do suggest listening to it, but it is very disturbing.
Yes.
It's the best way to put that. Okay, tell me about your weird religion cult thingies.
Yeah, so I actually stumbled upon this topic because I saw something come up on my Facebook about like this cult in Russia that worships a cartoon character. And so I kind of started looking into it, which kind of brought me to parody religions. And I got my sources from medium.com and dudeism.com. So basically parody religions are like religions that are kind of parodies of religions, like kind of satirical. Thank you, that word.
You're welcome.
So I'm sure some people who are members of these truly believe in it, and I'm sure some people, think it's kind of a joke. So you can really just decide on that. But Jessica, did you ever watch, this might be a bit before your time, but Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Nope.
Oh, it was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. So it's got Chip and Dale, which you know of Chip and Dale, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's got Chip and Dale, and they're rescue rangers.
No
so
kidding.
I know. So they have other characters that are with them and help them like fight off evil Fat Cat. And one of the characters is Gadget. She was a mechanic. She was a mouse. And I'm not gonna lie, she was kind of like, she had it going on for a cartoon character mouse. Like, she's kind of like, okay, like, should we be maybe I'll join this cult.
Maybe.
She was always one of my favorite characters, and I actually dressed up as her for Halloween like 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Show me the picture.
I don't know if I have a picture.
Ashley.
I'll have to try and see if I can find one.
Ashley.
I know I have one, but it's kind of like dark. But I'll try and find it.
Give a shit.
I'll try and find one and send it to you. Okay. But I had like little mouse ears, and she always wore like goggles on her head. So I had like made up goggles and then like little mouse ears. And then I had like a little wrench on my belt. And this was a few years ago when I was still single. So it was actually kind of several years ago. And I had a pretty nice little body at the time. So of course I had to dress up as like a sexy Gadget, right? So
I mean, I still think you got a nice body, so.
Oh, thanks, Jessica. They're so nice.
You're
Well, right now there's a
welcome.
big old baby in it, but
Oh, you need to see my belly. Holy macaroni.
but I really loved her character. She was like kind of one of those first characters that's kind of like breaking the mold of women and what we can do, just because she wasn't such a male driven I want to say occupancy, and that's not the word I want. Occupation.
Occupation.
Yes, a male driven occupation. She was really tough, but she was really like caring and sweet. And she was really good at her job. I loved her. So, some people in Russia really felt the same way, but they like really loved her, and actually created a religion around her. It's called the Gadget Hack Wrench Cult. That was her last name, by the way, Hack Wrench. Or it's also called Gadgetology.
Okay.
So they believe that she can be revived, or rather brought to life by their unconditional faith. They also believe that she has already been born in an alternate dimension. This cult was started by a man named, oh goodness,
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, Nizhny Novgorod in Russia. I know I butchered that. It's Nizhny Novgorod. So there you go.
All right.
And eventually, his cults like kind of spread throughout, or the information of his religion kind of spread throughout, and people started to join. He says that she is the embodiment of all virtues on earth. So they have three main ideologies. There's traditional gadgetology, which consists of prayers and righteous deeds for the good of their goddess, Gadget being their goddess. They have progressive gadgetology, which focuses more on moral growth. So help your neighbor, fight against evil, grow above yourself. They believe that only the purged soul can feel the union with Gadget. And then they also have the apocalyptic gadgetology, which believes that the end of the world is coming and that you can find salvation through Gadget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They believe that there's a world of Gadget, which resembles our world, but there are higher beings that live there. And they also believe that our world was created by Gadget. But they do believe that their goddess Gadget and the cartoon character are different entities. And they believe that she can appear to any of her followers in any form, not just the cartoon mouse form. So she can come to you at any time in any form. That's really all I have on the gadgetology, which is why I decided to look into other parody religions, because there wasn't much on that, because it is such like a niche group of people.
It's so obscure.
Yeah, exactly. So as I was looking into these, I found what I like to call the gold mine of Dudeism.
Perfect.
Dudeism is like if all your stoner college buddies got together and like started talking and created a religion. That's Dudeism. So they have a website, and it's actually a really good website. Like someone did a lot of work on it.
Okay, let me look this shit up.
Dudeism.com.
Dudeism.com. Okay. Get ordained for free. What?
Yep.
Oh my god. They have like the Da Vinci guy sketch with like the bunch of arms and legs, but it's a dude that looks like the Big Lebowski.
That's like their like sacred text is the Big Lebowski.
No. Oh my goodness. This is
it's
like...
hilarious. So the main phrase on their website is just take it easy, mankind.
I can't even handle. I'm
They
like
call
reading their
themselves
comments on some of their shit. It's so funny.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you guys are ever like bored on a Sunday, look them up and just look through their website. It's hilarious. And a lot of the stuff I have in here is like straight quotes from the website because it's just so funny.
Oh, like, come join the slowest growing religion in the world.
I have that in my notes. So they call themselves the Church of Latter-day Dude.
Oh my goodness.
And the first line of their website says, "Come join the slowest growing religion in the world, an ancient philosophy that preaches non-preachiness practices as little as practices as little as possible." And I lost my train of thought here. That's what it says on the website.
I can confirm I'm staring right at it.
So as Jessica said, you can also get ordained as a Dudeist priest. And there are apparently over 600,000 ordained Dudeist priests worldwide.
Oh my goodness.
And if you go to their website, you can click on the ordain, and they have pictures of some of their weddings that they ordained. And one guy did it in like a brown robe. One guy did it, they had their wedding in a bowling alley. So it's got some good stuff there.
They have a store.
Yep. They claim that their philosophy has only become a religion recently, but has been used throughout time in Taoism, Buddhism, Christianity, etc. They call the philosophy a rebel shrug. And basically say that life is short and complicated and nobody knows what to do about it. So don't do anything about it. Just take it easy, man. Stop worrying as much whether you'll make it into the finals. Kick back with some friends and some oat soda, and whether you roll strikes or gutters, do your best and be true to yourself and others. That is to say, abide.
Oh my goodness. They like I can't even with this website. I'm so sorry.
It's hilarious.
So funny. They have like there's so much on here.
I know. I told you it's a great website. They have a manifesto, and it was written by, are you ready for this guy's title?
Yes.
Reverend Dwayne Utsi Archdudeship. And I think it's EUTSEY. So in this manifesto, he talks about how to handle it if someone says Dudeism isn't a real thing. He says he tells his fellow Dudeists that they first have to address the basic question of what is religion. He said, quote, "What makes a religion? Is it being prepared to do the right thing, whatever the cost? Isn't that what makes it a religion? Or or is it that along with a pair of testaments?" Do you get it, Jessica? A pair of testaments.
Okay, they are talking about their testicles?
I think that's what he's alluding to.
Okay.
He goes on to talk about the root of the word religion, meaning to bind together, and that is what Dudeism does. He also says that you can break down religion into what, from what, and by what means. So he breaks down Dudeism, and it says, from what is Dudeism trying to liberate us? And the answer is thinking that's too uptight. To what state of being is Dudeism trying to bring us? Just take it easy, man. By what means does Dudeism attempt to do this? And he says abiding. They say abiding a lot, but they never really like describe, or I didn't really find what they mean by like abiding. But he also uses the 7 dimensions of religion. Doctrinal, ritual, ethics, experiential, that's not the word.
Experiential?
Yeah. No, experiential. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Myth, material, and social. So under doctrinal, he says they don't have a doctrine per se, but they could probably sum it up as Sometimes you eat the bear, and well, sometimes the bear, he eats you.
Oh.
Ritual. They aren't really into any rituals, but they do get together to go bowling and stuff. That's what he said.
Well, wasn't that like the Big Lebowski thing? Like they went bowling a lot?
Yeah. Honestly, I've never seen The Big Lebowski, but I do know that.
I've only seen parts of it.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
like their sacred text. They said their sacred text is The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it's literally everywhere around their website.
Yeah.
Like,
so ethics, they don't have many behavioral rules, but they do, quote, recognize that we may enter a world of pain whenever we go over the line, and we are forever cognizant of what can happen when we fuck a stranger in the ass. End quote.
oh my goodness.
Experiential. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word so much.
Well, it's a weird word.
Yeah. It says the core defining personal experience. And he said his is abiding and taking her easy.
I keep hearing Jeff Bridges when you say certain phrases. It's so perfect.
So it describes the stories that work on several levels and offer a fairly complete and systematic interpretation to the universe and humanity's place in it. So that's what like the myth is. And they said, the Big Lebowski is our founding myth. Quote, just as the Christian Gospels, based on the Jesus of history, provide a portrait of the mythical Christ of faith who died for all of us sinners, the film, based on the dude of history, Jeff, presents the mythical dude of film, Jeff Bridges, who takes it easy for all us sinners.
Yep. He sure does.
Yeah. Material, all they said under material was, that rug really tied the room together, did it not? I don't know.
I'm sure it's from the movie.
I'm sure.
It's funny for like a group that is about being like laid back and like lazy. Like their website is very detailed.
It's very detailed. They also have a school called Abide University and Institute that grants immediate PhDs and other degrees in fields such as leisure science, Lebowski studies, and metaphysics.
Interesting.
In their comment section, someone asked, is this university accredited worldwide? And the response was just, nah, fam. So they also have holidays. They have their own holidays.
Oh, okay.
So they have Happy Dude Year, which is New Year's, and they urge you to make a dude year resolution of not worrying so much about what you should do and just dude it instead.
Okay.
They have Palomine's Day, which is February 13th, where they celebrate pals, friendships, and good buddies.
Nice. I like that.
They have Hangover, which is February 27th through March 6th. And it says the week-ish long celebration beginning February 27th with National Kahlua Day and culminating on the Day of the Dead, March 6th. This sort of dudeist Lent where we kick back and appreciate the simple pleasures of life instead of chasing after the more complicated and painful ones.
All right.
And then March 6th is the Day of the Dude. I'm sorry, I think I said the Day of the Dead earlier. I meant Day of the Dude.
I'm like, that's offensive. But I'll just go with it.
Yeah. Sorry, Day of the Dude. So they have on March 6th, after their culminating long week, they have the Day of the Dude. This is when Big Lebowski, or their founding text, was released. This is their main holiday, and they strive to do as little as possible on it. They have Take It Easy Stir, which is the same date as the Christian Easter.
I was going to say.
They celebrate relaxation of uptights by acknowledging that spring always follows winter. They remind themselves that they can't be worried about that shit and life goes on, man.
Makes sense. I like that.
They they have Major Duder, which is the same date as a Buddhist holiday, where they purify their minds of undued thoughts and concerns. They have April Dude's Day, which is April 1st, and they just celebrate foolishness.
Mhm.
They have Pass It Over, which is where they celebrate their freedoms and encourage them to flourish, and that takes place during Passover.
Yeah.
They have Summer Shabbos,
Oh.
which is June 20th, and they honor the end of the first half of the solar year. It's a Dudeish night of rest, and they say try not to operate heavy machinery. They also have the summer solstice on June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, where they observe the slowest day of the year and try to perform everything at half speed.
Oh my goodness.
So they had several more holidays, but I didn't list them all. But they are on their website, and if you want to check it out, it is Dudeism, so it's DUDEISM.com. And it's just absolutely amazing.
It's a literal gold mine.
It is a literal gold mine. I loved it so much. And I thought that this was going to be a lot longer, so I didn't list all the holidays, but it's only 22 minutes, so it's kind of short, but that's okay.
That's okay. We've had some long episodes lately.
That is Dudeism.
I love it. It was a good laugh. I definitely needed that laugh before we dive into my crap. Because this is not going to be pleasant.
Okay. Not as going to be as good as Dudeism.
No, that was gold. That was gold. So I of course used All That's Interesting. I used biography.com and How Stuff Works as well. So
got it.
So this is a German story, obviously. I'm not going to say his name properly, and you're just all going to have to deal with it. Because I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Peter Kurten, like Kurten, but I was going to call him Peter Kurten.
Okay.
Because it's Kurten, and the U has like the two little dots on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like Kurten.
Yeah.
It's no.
So German words are really hard sometimes, for sure.
They are really hard. I don't get it. I'm really good at language. I'm just not good at German.
Do you want to know what my favorite German word is?
What?
Waschbär. It's a raccoon.
Aww. Cute. I love little raccoons.
Apparently they don't have raccoons in Germany. Oh. I have a friend who, she was a German exchange student in high school. She stayed with my best friend. And so she comes back every year to visit. And my best friend's uncle has a house down in Florida. So we were all hanging out down there. And there was a raccoon in the trees. And her fiance, now husband, were just, well, her fiance more so than her because she's been in the United States, for a few years. But we're just enthralled with the raccoon. He loved the raccoon. He was so interested in it.
Well,
it was great.
Raccoons are the best.
They're so cute.
So cute. All right. So this guy's name is Peter, or the Vampire of Dusseldorf. As mentioned, I have a little disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. So it's super graphic and by far one of the worst stories I've covered and researched for this podcast. Ugh. So listener discretion is 100% advised. This little psychopath was born in Germany in 1883. He was the eldest of 13 children. He unfortunately was subjected to violence as a child. He was battered by his alcoholic parents and was obligated to watch them have sex.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. So, with an upbringing like that, he's not going to have a great head on his shoulders.
Right.
Leads up to all the crap that he does.
I kind of feel like if you get a guy like that ends up being just a crazy and you find out that kind of stuff in his past, I feel like his parents should be just as culpable as he is.
Yes, exactly. You would hope so.
Yeah.
At the age of 9, he claims that he drowned 2 schoolmates and held them underwater until they succumbed.
Oh,
And
geez.
this tragic event was simply chalked up to be an accident.
Oh, gosh. At 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just chalked up to be a tragic childhood accident.
Well, I mean, I could see that. A little 9-year-old, you would not think that they murdered them.
Yeah, exactly. So already it's looking grim.
Yeah.
Also at the age of 9, he had befriended a dog catcher wherein
no.
he learned to torture and kill the animals that were caught.
Oh, no.
This is also who he learned bestiality from.
Oh, the babies.
Yes. At the age of 13, he had entered a relationship with a girl his age where she refused his sexual advances.
Yeah, she's 13.
Yes. Due to her rejecting him constantly, he took out his frustrations on the poor little farm animals. He would stab them and mutilate them in order to achieve an orgasm.
Jessica, can I turn your episode off?
Unfortunately, you have to keep listening.
Dang it.
But, isn't this heinous?
This is awful.
This is awful. By far the worst story I've ever covered.
Yeah.
In 1899, this wonderful individual then stole money from his home, and he ran away with a prostitute who was 2 years older than him.
Okay.
His father was also arrested around this time for having an affair with his youngest sister. With his young sister. I don't know if it was the youngest. And he was put into jail for 3 years.
So the whole family was fucked up.
Yes, the whole family was super fucked up. Peter Kurten then went to jail for theft and then again for fraud. While in prison, he discovered he enjoyed performing brutal sexual acts while he was in solitary confinement. So, logically, he consistently acted out.
Wait, how did he figure that out while he was in solitary confinement? I guess just daydreaming about it.
Bored, daydreaming, masturbating, and then
Yeah.
not being able to get off because he wanted to be because he used to have to mutilate animals and kill them in order to get an orgasm, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Yeah.
Or how he figured it out. But anyway, so he constantly acted out so he would remain in solitary confinement and keep doing them.
Gotcha.
Keep doing those things.
Gotcha.
In 1904, at the tender age of 21, he was drafted into the German army, where he soon deserted and started committing acts of arson.
Wow. He just hits the whole trifecta.
Oh, he hits literally every single little thing. Sorry, I need to take my sweater off. I'm dying of heat in here. He was soon caught for his arson acts because the dummy decided to stand by and watch as emergency crews arrived on scene. And so once he was caught for that, he was also tried by the military for his desertion. So got some double whammies there.
Yeah.
He went to jail yet again. This is the 3rd time, in case anyone was wondering.
Only they'd kept him there.
Exactly. I know. Why would you not keep somebody like that in jail?
Yeah.
He allegedly experienced severe punishment and torture in jail, where he would ejaculate just thinking about them.
Oh my goodness.
He was then released from prison in 1913 and moved to Mulheim am Rhein. Oh, I have a pronunciation after that. Mulheim am Rhein. Oh, I didn't actually do too badly. By 1913, his sexual urges were no longer being satisfied by prostitutes and animals. So soon after his release from jail, he committed burglary in a home. While he was in that home, he came across a young girl. Unable to control his urges any longer, he strangled her. He slashed her throat, and then he ejaculated on her as her blood dripped to the ground. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't even with this story. It's stressing me out.
It's so bad. Did you know it was this bad when you started it?
Nope, sure did not. And then I was like, this is mess, but I need to keep going.
You're already too far in.
Yeah, I'm like sick to my stomach, but and that girl was like 8 or 9. Like, she was very young.
Oh my god.
To keep up the high he had experienced when he initially killed this young girl, he would attend the tavern across the road from her home where he listened to locals talk about his crimes.
Oh my gosh.
He would also then visit this young girl's grave.
Leave her alone.
Yeah, and he would touch her grave soil in order to obtain further sexual satisfaction.
Wow.
Yeah.
He is just all kinds of fucked up.
It's stressing me out. Probably why I'm so warm right now.
Oh no.
This young girl's uncle was initially the one to blame for her murder.
Oh.
And the reason for that was because he had had an argument with her father. However, he was eventually cleared at the time.
Oh, good.
Yes. 2 months later, he attended the home of a 17-year-old girl where he strangled and ejaculated on her when he saw her blood.
Ugh.
He was thankfully arrested for the 4th time for arson and burglary and held in a prison for 8 years. In 1921, he was released from prison and was then engaged to a former prostitute and now shop owner named August Scharf. August Scharf? I don't know.
I have a feeling that things did not end well for her.
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, okay.
It was fine. So, it was actually a fortunate match, as she had been accused of shooting and killing her former fiance.
Oh,
and then Kurten posed as that fiance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was a good match. So he actually started sleeping with a couple of their maids. And Scharf became jealous and told her maids to go to the court and indicate that Kurten had forced himself upon them.
Oh.
One of them did that, and he was then sentenced to his 5th imprisonment, this time only for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I'm assuming they got a divorce. I don't really know what else happened to her, but randomly he has a new wife later on, so
Okay.
yeah. Once released from prison, he murdered 2 more people and attempted a 3rd. However, she thankfully survived the attack.
Oh, good.
He preferred to kill his victims by stabbing them, usually with sharpened scissors.
Ugh.
He would also strangle his victims and sexually assault them in addition to stabbing and mutilating them.
Ugh.
Disguised as a concerned citizen, he would also return to the crime scenes to discuss the occurrences with the police.
Wow. That's so common, but
yeah.
Wow.
Basically be like, oh, what was happening? Like, what happened? Like, what do you guys think happened? Like, what's going on? Over the span of several months, he attempted and failed to strangle 4 women. However,
good for them.
Yes, thankfully. However, in 1929, his spree got worse, and he murdered 6 people in the span of only 1 month.
Oh, wow.
A victim by the name of Maria Kuhn survived 24 stab wounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Yeah.
He killed 9-year-old Rosa Olinger. Or Oliger, I don't know. On February 9th, 1929, she was stabbed 13 times, and
Wow.
Kurten climaxed during the attack.
Oh my gosh.
He also tried to set fire to her remains.
Wow. That was stupid.
Yep. One woman he murdered, he stalked for a week.
Oh
He had
gosh.
also hoped to crucify her on a dying tree. However, he opted instead to bury her.
Alive?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't seem like his MO.
Okay.
He did, however, send the police a letter with a map to her body.
Okay.
And he wanted to throw police off of his scent, in a sense, so he switched from scissors to a knife.
Okay.
He then stabbed an 18-year-old girl, a 30-year-old man, and a 37-year-old woman. They all survived.
He has such a large range of victims.
Yeah. Well, and that's
like
the thing.
age and sex and all of that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's like it doesn't make any sense. Like it's just
No wonder police had such a hard time finding him. They probably didn't connect all the crimes right away.
Yeah, because it honestly makes no sense, because like usually they have an MO, like the certain type of people that they track. So it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
I guess it was just crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
So, all three of these victims that had survived all described their assailant differently too. So that obviously helped to confuse the police even further.
Right.
3 days after those survival stabbings, he murdered 2 sisters. He sliced the neck of one and strangled the other.
Oh gosh.
For the first time, and where he gets his name, he participated in cannibalism and drank the blood of one sister as it poured out of her.
Oh.
And to me, I always thought cannibalism was just eating the flesh, but I suppose it can be from drinking the blood.
I guess I just assumed it was just like consuming any human.
Makes sense. Any part of the human.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. The German press then gave him the name the Vampire of Dusseldorf. At this time, a mentally disabled man came forward and admitted to the vampire attacks, where he was then committed into an asylum, and the police assumed the case was closed.
Oh, poor guy.
But he came forward himself, right? Like,
yeah, but if he's mentally disabled, he might not have known what he was doing, or like...
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but at least he was only sentenced to a mental institution and not sentenced to die.
Right.
A month later, Kurten murdered 2 servants, where he used a hammer to kill them.
Oh gosh.
So very different from his MO.
Yeah, he is just all over the place.
Yeah. A month later, sorry, no, I just said that. He also stabbed a child and left her to die alone in an alleyway.
Oh god.
So at this point, the public was actually condemning the police for not being able to catch the person who was committing these crimes.
Gotcha.
Because it had been going on for so long, and they're like, this is scary.
Yeah.
On May 14th, his intention was to seduce and murder a 20-year-old woman by the name of Maria Budlik. However, she recognized what he was doing and she fled the scene.
Oh, good for her.
However, another source says that he raped her and then let her go, which I don't think I believe that one so much, considering his previous MOs.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he would be able to just rape someone to get off and then be done.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like let her go after she's seen his face, you know?
Yeah.
She detailed her experience in a letter to a friend, which was incorrectly addressed, so a postal worker brought the letter to the police. As police are reading the letter from Budlik, Kurten was actually confessing his crimes to his wife, who remained married and unaware of his crimes during their marriage.
Wow. Can you imagine if your husband had confessed that to you?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
He had suggested to his wife, Frau Kurten, that she be the one to turn him in so that she would have money after he was detained, like the reward money.
Okay. So it seems like maybe he actually cared about her.
Yeah, exactly. Which is so bizarre.
Yeah.
So bizarre. Upon his arrest, he immediately confessed to his crimes while ultimately not showing any remorse. He admitted to 68 crimes, including 10 successful murders and 31 attempted.
Wow.
Yeah. He went to extreme lengths to ensure the authorities believed him, potentially so his wife could receive maximum financial benefit due to his cooperation. He stated he was claiming what was due to him as his experiences and horrors during his childhood and life were so detrimental to him, I guess. Like, he basically was owed,
Yeah.
it was basically like a revenge for what he experienced. Police obviously requested a psychological evaluation for Kurten, and it was the first ever to be performed on a sexual serial killer. Horrifically,
Okay.
5 psychologists determined that he was in fact sane and he was fit to stand trial for his actions.
Okay.
Like, 5 psychologists
I
determined
mean,
that.
there's definitely a difference between criminal insanity and like mental insanity. You know, like I know at least in the United States, like it's not necessarily are you insane as like we would say in like modern day language. It's that criminally insane. Like, did you know what you were doing at the time is wrong?
Yeah,
And if you did, then you are considered sane for trial, even if, you did these horrible, horrible things and you're really like insane for that. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's horrifying
Yeah.
because it was probably that same thing, right? Like, he was like, yeah, I recognize what I did was wrong,
Right.
but I have no remorse for it.
Right.
At his trial, when the judge asked if he felt any remorse, here we go. Curtin stated, quote, I have none. Never have I felt any misgiving in my soul. Never did I think to myself that what I did was bad, even though human society condemns it. My blood and the blood of my victims must be on the heads of my torturers. The punishments I have suffered have destroyed all my feelings as a human being. That was why I had no pity for my victims. Unquote.
So he basically blamed everything on his parents.
Yes.
Okay.
And what was
And
happening to him in like jail and stuff. And
yeah. I mean, and like I said, I think, that when parents are that awful to their kids and their kids grow up to do something awful, like the parents should be culpable. But you also are an adult and make your own decisions, so I don't think you can't blame everything on the parents. But I do think that the parents should take some responsibility in, fucking up their kid.
yeah, exactly. It's just so wild.
Yeah.
Over the course of 2 months, the court and jury deliberated where all sides of him and his crimes were taken into consideration before finally reaching a guilty verdict. He was then given 9 death sentences and he was sentenced to die by guillotine.
Okay.
On July 2nd, 1931, at the age of 48, he entered the courtyard in order to be executed. When he placed his head upon the guillotine, he asked the psychiatrist, quote, tell me, after my head is chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That,
I've heard that quote before.
yeah. And he's like, that would be the pleasure to end all pleasures, unquote.
Yeah, I've heard that quote before. Wow. Okay.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like, gross.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure he never got his answer because then his head was chopped off.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, he figured it out eventually, one way or the other.
Yeah. I did try researching it, and there's a lot of debate as to whether or not the brain remains functional after decapitation, especially through guillotine since it was such a clean cut. So it would have been
Okay.
super quick as opposed to like using an axe or whatever else they use, because then you had to like do it multiple times in order to get the head off.
Yeah, so it may not have severed everything right away.
Yeah. The brain is technically still intact, and therefore there have been reports of facial expressions changing after decapitation and others trying to speak. Like I think Anne Boleyn was one of those where people.
Well, I mean, you look at like chickens, you know, if you cut their heads off, they can still run around.
Yeah. But there was a case where like they said that some people thought Anne Boleyn was still trying to speak, or like her facial expressions were changing after she died.
Ugh. Well, I mean, okay, so you think about it. When you sever someone's head, the brain stops getting oxygen and blood, which is what it needs to live. But we can hold our breath, you know, for a little bit. And so I'm sure it takes like a second or two for it to actually like die off.
That's the thing. I think it was like 15 to 30 seconds before you fully lose that oxygen.
Well, hopefully we never have to find out, Jessica.
Yeah, hopefully never. I do think this is a pretty cool piece of information. Others may find it disturbing. But his head was taken for forensic analysis before finding its way to the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Wisconsin.
Oh.
So his head is cut in half and it's on display.
That's weird. And why Wisconsin?
I don't know.
It's a really random place.
I don't know. Like, I have no idea. But that's where it is.
Because there's like tons of Ripley's Believe It or Not museums.
Yeah, like we have one in Niagara Falls too. So
yeah.
For the forensic analysis, nothing was found to be abnormal with his brain to indicate or explain why he acted the way he did, and showed no remorse for his actions. I personally think it was, as he said, and as we've discussed, his childhood trauma. Because, I mean, his parents used to beat him and forced him to watch them have sex. Like, that's pretty traumatizing for a kid. So,
for sure.
But yeah, that is my horrible, horrible story on Peter Kurten.
So Dudeism. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, seriously. Go back to it. Yeah, that was rough to get through. So
yeah,
I sped through that because I was so uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, sorry, this is a shorter episode, everyone, but hopefully you still enjoyed it.
Yes. Sorry for disturbing your brains.
If you want more of us lovely ladies, you can find us on TikTok at Histories and Mysteries Pod. We have a Facebook and Instagram, Histories and Mysteries. And you can email us at historiesandmysteries515@gmail.com.
We hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you. Well, I guess we'll talk to you next week in your ears.
Talk in your ears.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.